the myth of the strong Black woman has proven to be a crippling philosophy in the lives of Black women.
In order to reconstruct the narrative of Black women, we must first consider the false assumptions of the value associated with strength.
The current definition of resiliency has come at a cost to the health and wellness of Black women.
We've learned to ignore our vulnerabilities in order to maintain our strength.
Accepting the narrative of the strong Black woman doesn't leave room for vulnerability.
Resiliency has been defined as the ability to recover quickly. But Black women don't need to hurry past our vulnerability in order to be resilient.
Resiliency for Black women can look like vulnerability and strength.
I am vulnerable and strong, and my vulnerability of strength shows up as asking for help and not feeling inadequate or weak when doing so.
I am strong and vulnerable, and my vulnerability of strength shows up as fear.
I am strong and vulnerable. My vulnerability of strength is self-acceptance, truly accepting me for me. I strive for internal agape love.
I am vulnerable and strong, and my vulnerability of strength shows up as anxiety.
I am vulnerable and strong, and my vulnerability of strength shows up as uncertainty. When this transpires, I am kind to myself. I limit my exposure to the news. I don't dwell on things I can't control. I engage in self-care, and I take my own advice.
I am vulnerable and I am strong, and my vulnerability of strength looks like disengagement and indifference.
I'm vulnerable and strong, and my vulnerability of strength shows up as perfectionism. I've learned that my flaws and imperfections are what make me perfect. I never have to dim my light in order to make others feel better about themselves.
I am vulnerable and I am strong, and my vulnerability of strength often shows up as guilt and shame.
I am vulnerable and strong, and my vulnerability of strength shows up as over-explaining.
I am both vulnerable and strong. My vulnerability of strength is trusting others. I've learned that past betrayals don't have to hinder the ability to have meaningful and purposeful connections in the future.
I am vulnerable and strong. My vulnerability of strength shows up in fear and anxiety when I'm overwhelmed. When that occurs, I practice self-care, positive affirmations, and meditation.
Black women are stretched and pulled, but it's okay if we don't return to our original form. We're vulnerable, but we're still here.
We've constructed this message to affirm for every Black woman that acknowledging and sharing your vulnerabilities are symbols of your strength. You are powerful and you are resilient.